What is going on, guys? Got a quick video for you here. While we're waiting for 1.8.1 to come out, I decided to go back and look at a couple of my build videos, and I realized that some of the builds that I put out before, I don't even run them anymore. They're changed, they're different. They're still kind of the same, but it would be cool to do a nice update to show what the builds look like now compared to what they looked like before. So the first build video I want to do is going to be my reclaimer video. It has to be one of the most popular videos on my channel. Unfortunately, because it was one of the first videos I ever did, the commentary on that video was absolutely horrible. And I just want to say thank you to you guys because you made that video very popular. And I think that's because the video was so thorough. It was from my heart. I ran Reclaimer all through 1.6 and 1.7. I knew Reclaimer inside and out. So I poured my heart and soul into that video, and I guess it came across as really good information for a lot of future Reclaimers out there. So that being said, I wanted to do an update to that Reclaimer video. This time I have two builds I want to show you guys. I have my PVE Reclaimer and I have my PvP Reclaimer. If you don't know, I have two characters. One is PvP, that'll be this one. And one is PVE, that'll be this one. Let's begin by looking at my updated PVE Reclaimer build. So here we are with my updated PVE Reclaimer build. The original version of this Reclaimer build came right after Reclaimer was reduced from 10K electronics down to 9K electronics. So my initial thought was just to simply roll one piece to firearms and give myself a little bit more firepower. Sounded good at the time, but after playing with this for a while, things changed, and I think this version of my PVE Reclaimer is much better than my previous version. So let's go through the build real quick and show you exactly what's what. First and foremost, all pieces are rolled to electronics. Then I simply use firearms mods to bring my firearms up to 4K firearms. That way I could unlock Determined on my house. Starting off on the chest piece, we've got health, skill haste, and ammo capacity. On the mask, we've got skill power and damage to elites. On the knees, skill power, damage to elites, disrupt, and bleed. On the holster, we've got skill haste. On the gloves, SMG damage, crit damage, and skill haste. A lot of people ask me, why do you run crit damage on your gloves? Well, I mostly PvP. Even though my builds are quote unquote PvE, there's always an opportunity for me to be in the dark zone, and I don't want to have enemy armor damage versus having crit damage on my gloves. It's just something I need to protect myself against rogues if the situation arises. I mean, I fully understand a lot of guys go full PvE, but if you find yourself in the dark zone, leave your PvE build at the door, because that's one of the ways rogues will run over you, because your build is simply not up to par with PvP. Onto the backpack, I've got skill power and disrupt. Not much has changed on the character sheet. I'm still running 33% crit chance and 88% crit damage. I've got 28% damage to elites and 34% skill haste. This is because once I drop my box, I'll gain another 15% skill haste, putting me at about 49%. As far as the weapons are concerned, I'm running a house with Determined and Talented. This is a completely different change from my previous video. I think I was running Deadly and Competent. This simply works better in PvE because Determined in combination with Talented reduces your skill cooldowns by an insane amount. On my secondary, I'm running a LV with Skilled, Determined, and Talented, once again for lightning fast cooldowns. As far as skills are concerned, I'm still running Defibrillator and of course the support station with the life support mod. Again, I see a lot of Reclaimers running around with the base mod. I see a lot of Reclaimers running around with the immunizer. You want to run the life support mod because it is the only mod with the fastest default healing rate. Talents are still Triage, Crit Save, Combat Medic, and Strike Back. That pretty much sums up the changes with my PVE Reclaimer. I think it's in a much better place than it was before. I feel as if I do just as much damage as before without having actual damage talents on my house. And that's a really good place to be in. It allows me to be the healer, but at the same time, I can fight, I can defend myself, and I can help out my team. So this will be my updated Reclaimer build for PvE. Now let's take a look at my Reclaimer build for PvP. So this is my Reclaimer build for PvP. Now before you jump all over me like what the hell is this, let me explain exactly why my Reclaimer build looks different than most Reclaimers. First off, this is not a healer. If you look at this build, this is pretty much the same template I put out when I did my Tactician support build. This Reclaimer is not a healer, it's a support build. In PvP, I already run with a healer, and he runs attack healer. So in order to support the healer, I decided to make my Reclaimer just a little bit different. The Reclaimer is an awesome healer, but in PvP, the tac healer is still the best because of the lightning fast cooldowns you can get from Tactician. The one thing the Tactician can't do is provide the buffs that you get from the Reclaimer support station. These buffs are unlimited ammo, free skill haste, and free skill recovery. Those three things alone make a Reclaimer support station very important in PvP. But the key thing is you don't need 9K electronics to benefit from those three things. So in a sense, this Reclaimer build is simply a support player with a really good support station. My support station lasts for 1.5 minutes, and I only have 6K electronics. So my team gets free skill haste, free ammo, and 30% signature skill recovery while still having a Tactician healer to support us. But before we get into the skills side of this, let's talk about the build itself. With this build, I've got 2 pieces rolled to stamina and 3 pieces rolled to electronics. Then I've backfilled everything else with firearms mods so I can unlock deadly on my SMG. So on the chest piece, stamina roll, health, skill haste, and ammo capacity. On the mask, electronics roll, skill power, and burn. On the knees, electronics roll, skill power, bleed, burn, and disrupt. On the holster, skill haste. On the gloves, electronics roll, SMG damage, crit damage, and skill haste. On the backpack, stamina roll, skill power, and disrupt. I run this build with a house with competent and deadly. My secondary weapon is a LV with deadly, predatory, and determined. This weapon is there so I can finish off targets and benefit from both predatory and determined. Over to the stat sheet, I've got 33.5% crit chance on this build and 103% crit damage, with 37% skill haste. Let's look at the skills, but before I look at the skills, let's drop our support station. This support station lasts for over 1.5 minutes. It provides my team with 15% free skill haste, 30% skill recovery, and unlimited ammo. And it heals for 20.8 HP a second. My secondary skill is a conceal pulse, which puts out 23.6% crit chance and crit damage. Since I'm not the healer, I run this with a blue super, and I get that back in less than 4 minutes. For talents, I'm running Triage, Crit Save, Combat Medic, and Strike Back. So like I said, this Reclaimer build is not a healer in the sense of most Reclaimers are a healer because we already have a healer on the team. This Reclaimer is a support player with a really good box that helps the entire team, and it also allows the healer to use his box as a burst heal as needed. Transmissions jammed. This has been my updated Reclaimer build for 1.8. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching. Take care, everybody.